Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes React. I'm Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
I'm Office Bloke Daz.
Together we are the Office Blokes.
Indeed.
Aye.
It is true. One of the channels we like to react to every now and again is Araco TV.
Yeah.
It's been quite good.
It's quite funny, actually.
Yeah.
There's
His no-nonsense approach.
Yeah, and there's something about the southern accent when you call someone a donut as well.
It fits in nicely, doesn't it?
Yeah. He's just he seems to be pretty good at calling out a lot of the nonsense.
Speaks sense, doesn't he? Really, and
but in a
what we all
funny
want to
way.
hear.
Yeah.
with a bit of humour.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No one wants to be preached to, but if you make jokes at people's expense, then it's a little bit different. Isn't it?
That's what he's doing. He's only pointing out the idiots of the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Having fun doing it as well. So let's do it. Teenage boy silences his feminist teacher. Let's go for it.
Interesting.
The definition of feminism is equality between men and women, if you look it up on Google. In this presentation, I'm going to prove to you that in 2016 is not the case. There was a first wave of feminism, the suffragettes, who campaigned for the vote and for equality, and then there was second wave feminism in around the 60s, campaigning for equality in domestic gender roles and things like that. And then recently there's been a third wave feminism, who have consistently lied about things. For example, the wage gap between men and women. That is a lie. 77 cents to the dollar is a lie. It doesn't take into account the different hours worked by men and women on average in jobs. It doesn't take into account the different jobs that men and women do. And it doesn't take into account many, many other factors. Once you factor all these in, it is statistically irrelevant, the wage gap. This is just one example of the lies that have been perpetrated by modern third wave feminism. They hate free speech. They don't like it when their opinions are challenged. They try to ban words like bossy, and they try to ban things on Twitter. They try to ban people from having their opinion. They don't like other people's opinions. The imbalances on people have flipped, and feminism says that it's about equality, but I've never once seen a feminist campaign against the fact that, on average, women, if they a man, they get 2 years, 3 years in jail. But if it happens the other way around, it's 20 years. Surely if they're about equality, shouldn't it be the same for both genders? But gender imbalances include the massive suicide rate of...
What a brave kid taking this on in what looks like high school.
Maybe. Is it high school, do you think? Or one up from high school? Sixth form?
Maybe sixth form,
Yeah.
something like
Maybe
that. Yeah, it
sixth
seems
form.
fairly...
But he's definitely... he's obviously had enough of it, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's not, fuck it, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
But that's a free speech, and why not?
I've heard the gender pay gap debate loads from people, and he is right in what he's saying. I think it's medium wage that they're talking about, and doesn't factor in different hours worked and also maternity leave and different jobs that they go into, less women in sciences and things like that.
Yeah. I'm all about equality, but it can't be across the board, I don't think. I think it's got to be fair.
Everyone should have the same opportunities to do the same stuff, and what you decide to do after that is on you.
Yeah.
If you want to go into a high-paid, high-pressure job, go for it.
It should be about the best person for the job, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it should be about, well, all said and done. So
some people have more of a disposition towards caring jobs, which don't necessarily pay as well.
Yeah.
And some people are like psycho boardroom people that tend to be like, you know, a lot of men tend to fit that category a bit more, don't they?
Yeah, but a lot of men keep women out of jobs as well.
Which is wrong.
Yeah, it is wrong. That. Yeah, it's jobs for the boys, isn't it? The old sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you can't really do that, but my mate can.
Yeah.
This guy can, because I know I'll get on well with him, better than him than I would with her.
There are certain things that are old school, and it is like that. So I do agree with that.
But having a go at your everyday guy for that, and it's like, well, I'm not in a position of power. I'm not in a boardroom with all the lads doing coke and banging hookers.
But if the guy come home from work and went, "Where have you been all day? What have you been doing? Don't you sit there and do nothing?" So the woman, she wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
So equality's got to work both ways.
Yeah. As soon as the weekend comes around, you get her out of bed at 6 on Saturday. And
go and mow the grass.
Yeah.
That grass ain't gonna cut itself.
There's a nice farmer's market 20 miles away that I'd like to go to. I'd like to get there early.
And you're driving.
men under 30. I've never heard a feminist or a third wave feminist once speak about how bad this is. It's not about equality. It's not. It's about lying. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Boy, that boy spit facts and he's got some balls to do that in a school. I could just tell all his boys were looking at him giggling, thinking, shit, man, you're going to get in some trouble. And it's sad that you will get in trouble for spitting facts these days because people can't take it. Like he says, if you've got a different opinion or if you challenge people's opinions, people start calling you hateful and saying you're attacking them. If it was really about equality, then they'd also talk about male problems, but they don't. All they do is try and victimise women. Do you see yourself as a feminist was the
No,
question.
Harry, I would not, because I don't believe... Well, I believe in equality, but I don't believe in feminism, because I believe that that's not about equality.
Originally, feminism was created because there was an imbalance.
Yeah.
And originally, it was the imbalance between men and women.
This is the
The
teacher.
idea now is not feminism being an imbalance of gender, but being equality of all. You talk a lot about men versus women. But what about people who call themselves transgender? What about people that perhaps don't identify with a gender at all?
That is a completely different topic. The fuck is she on about?
Yeah.
This boy speaks like a future leader or some shit. I wouldn't mess with him if I was her. Let's see how this goes.
Just before he gets into his answers, she's done that kind of thing of you're changing the topic to something slightly more controversial to turn the crowd against him.
Yeah.
Because as soon as he answers this wrong, it then makes it irrelevant all of the points that he's just
got
said.
a bit of ammunition, hasn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, but teachers should be asking questions, and he said it's open to questions, it's a discussion, so...
Yeah, I get that.
It's not a question about the topic he was talking about, though.
It's not. It's not, and it's underhanded.
Yeah, it is underhanded, very underhanded.
But if we're proponents of free speech at the same time, then
You should just
she
say,
can
you're not a
answer
pupil,
it.
you chunt. You sit over there and just be quiet.
I'm guessing he's going to. I'm guessing he's going to school her a little bit.
I hope so.
Let's
Go
hope
back
so.
a little bit, Dave.
What if, God forbid, he says there's only 2 genders in a school? Probably get expelled.
Spitting
for that
facts,
nowadays, wouldn't you?
But then, like I say,
Like he
how,
says.
how can there be a pay gap between men and women if there's no gender?
Well, actually, I've
'Cause
seen
it
a
was on
few
another
people.
video that
Yeah,
we watched not so long ago.
yeah. When they say
Which
about
is a good point.
the gender pay gap between men and women, and then you go, so what is a woman?
Yeah, but we are all equal.
they're
It's
like,
not
"We're
men and
good."
women, we're all equal, so there can't be a gender pay gap, then, can there?
Yeah,
Because we're all the same.
there are no genders, and
Can't
also.
Can't be both ways.
Have you worked out the difference between, say, someone who's a male, their average wage, and then like a Two-Spirit Penguin's wage? Because that's a legitimate gender nowadays. Is there a gender pay gap between all of the genders? How many genders are there? Can we define all of them before we figure out?
That's a big debate, that is.
I'm out.
So we've got nothing else to
It's not for
argue
me.
about, isn't
I've
it?
got to say, I'm out.
That is a completely different topic. The fuck is she on about? This boy speaks like a future leader or some shit. I wouldn't mess with him if I was her. Let's see how this goes.
In relation to what?
How they should be perceived by society? Do they not count in the idea of feminism?
Well, no, because feminism, if you look up the definition, which if you ask a feminist, they'll always refer you to, is about the push for women's rights and equality between men and women.
If I call myself a feminist, I wouldn't say that I battle for the rights of women. I would say I battle for the rights of equality.
Good for you. That's you personally. He's talking about it in general and how the word's being redefined, and it's not about equality for people. It's about certain women making up lies so they get special privileges.
So when we talk about the shift of language and definitions, is it not fair to say that definitions shift and change depending on the need within society?
Well, just because you say you are something doesn't mean that that's what the movement is about. So I could say that I'm a radical jihadist. It doesn't mean that I'm a radical jihadist.
You don't
Nah,
give a
this
fuck,
kid's
does
too
he?
good, man.
You can say that you're something, but the movement doesn't necessarily represent that. If you say that,
Facts.
if you say that you're about equality for all, most of feminism isn't about equality for all. It's about equality between men and women. That's what modern feminism is about. For example, with the wage gap, they haven't. When they give you the wage gap statistics, 77 cents to the dollar, they don't mention other people who may not identify with the gender or people who identify themselves as trans.
So yeah, I would say that there is equally a disparity between class systems. There is, so if you are born into a certain class of family, your income equates to a certain amount.
She's changing it again.
How you're born, which is a very similar thing to do with gender. Do you think that that is as much of an issue, if not more so, or less so, than gender inequality?
She's just pulling out questions out of her ass because he keeps scolding her. She doesn't know what to say. So now she's just pulling out questions out of her ass. And I'm not saying it's a bad question or not an interesting question, but it's got nothing to do with what he was talking about.
Well, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about gender inequality and how it's misrepresented by feminism because they're saying that they're for gender equality when they're actually not.
Okay, so what are your thoughts?
Oh, I missed the opportunity then. As soon as he finished that, he should have just turned right back to the crowd and gone, has anyone else got any questions?
Yeah. What about equality for everyone else to answer a question? Not just the person in authority.
Yeah.
She's just pecking his head here.
It's because he's sort of like, I'd run over on her. And
Big time.
She's trying to claw it back into to make him look wrong or stupid or whatever.
I just wish he'd have turned. As soon as he finished speaking, then just gone, does anyone else have any questions?
Yeah.
Can we hear from some of the gentlemen in the room, please? Because we've had enough female representation.
All these questions have just been coming from women at the moment. So.
Or assuming she classifies herself as a woman.
It could be anything.
Whoa.
On inequality in general, including the classes.
Well, ideally, I would like to eradicate all inequalities, but I'm not going to do that by calling myself a feminist.
Boom.
He needs to bow.
Smile on his face.
He smashed it, he hit the nail on the head, and he proved at the end that he's smarter than the teacher. She was asking him questions that had absolutely nothing to do with the presentation. And it's funny actually, because if you look back at the feminist movement, there was a lot of women that didn't even want it to happen. A lot of them didn't want to go to war and fight, they wanted to stay at home.
On top of that, how can we say we were disadvantaged before when we didn't have to fight in wars? The men were the ones that had to go fight in wars. We'll say my body, my choice all day, but we'll never talk about their body, their choice when they get drafted. Women, the majority of women didn't even want the right to vote because it came with the responsibility of getting drafted. So most girls are like, I'm gonna chill in the kitchen, and I absolutely would chill in the kitchen if that was the same thing today.
One of the things that frustrates me the most about modern feminism is the way that it kind of makes men feel like they shouldn't be men, or that masculine traits are toxic. Well, I'm here to tell you, fuck that, and to be proud of your masculinity and embrace it.
It's a little bit too masculine for me right now.
The bloke behind was looking at him.
I know, yeah.
It's far too interesting.
Montage of men just being men. He didn't look big
Didn't
enough
look right,
to be doing that, did he?
All human beings should be treated equally. We don't treat people worse because of their gender. Most people know that these days. But feminism needs to be redefined because it's got completely twisted. Like the kid said at the start of the video, it's not about equality anymore, and if you can't see that,
get some help.
Yeah.
Nice one.
True that.
Yeah.
Hey, it's good, that lad.
Yeah, the kid was like in the words of Araco there, he's spitting facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He carried himself really well, didn't he? He didn't get flustered or anything like that. So fair play to him.
Considering he's probably 17 years old there.
Yeah,
Something like that.
15, 17,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, fair play to him. I think like Araka sort of hit it on the head, didn't he? Everyone deserves to be treated equally. Absolutely, everyone.
Absolutely.
But that doesn't mean you get special privileges as well, because that's the opposite of equality, isn't it?
He just stood by his process as well. He didn't back down, so he didn't bow down. He just went, "This is what I feel, and this is the way it is."
Back as well,
Here's your
didn't he?
answers.
You know,
yeah,
In a respectful way, didn't get flustered.
and correct.
exactly. Yeah.
That's the important thing, isn't it? Don't start screaming and shouting your point. You've lost as soon as you do that.
It's
Calm, talk about it.
It's definitely got a future in politics, hasn't he?
I hope
If he can
not.
go talk like that and he can keep his cool like that, then
But he actually answered a question, so that's the opposite of being in
oh
politics.
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, that's a
He
good
didn't just
point,
dance around it.
skirt around
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's more what she was doing, I think. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.